After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Headed back to the place that started it all for most of those on iRacing, the USA International Speedway holds some fond or not so fond memories for oval racers on the platform. And tonight, it can make some more as the opening race in the second round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. 225 laps around this unique 3/4 mile oval is coming up next on Pit Stop TV. Good evening all and welcome to the virtual Lakeland, Florida. I am Emerson Arden and Ed Sure is alongside for Vakel this evening. And Ed, this short track is like no other. Definitely one everyone has logged laps on, but it has its own challenges. It's got long straights, banked corners, a lot of bumps. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a very tricky little quarter mile or 3/4 mile short track. It's one of those local short tracks that a lot of people in the Florida area will be known and used to in Lakeland, Florida. For certain, definitely I have been used to this. I think all of us on iRacing have been used to this. This is where most of us started with the rookie street stocks. But not only did it hold the rookie street stocks, it also known for most dirt racers here for runs the 305 sprint cars and a couple other things as dirt street stocks. And it's a pretty mildly known track for a lot of things, even mainly the short track racing part with super late models and street stocks and all the other sorts of vehicles. But as you see on the track map, a little bit over 3/4 mile. It's a little fast with how long these straightaway speeds are, but then it's going to be heavy braking zones for each one of these corners. It's almost got like a little Martinsville feel to it, where you're going to be high speeds on the straights, heavy braking into the corners, but not only is it going to carry like Martinsville, it's going to react like Martinsville, to where we might see some tempers flaring tonight, we might see some door banging, we might even see some really hard, tight racing. But it all comes down for who's going to be there in the end of this 225 lap race, Emerson.
Absolutely, and I'm in full agreement with you as well, Ed. It is it's going to be something. We saw this race. I believe it only had 3 cautions at the very beginning, and it went caution free for the rest of it. Back when we ran this in season 1, but now, we got a different group of drivers here. We'll see how this one plays out. We can see the track there. You can also see it in the background as well. There is some decent banking in these corners. There is potential for 2 lanes of racing. Will they be used? We'll have to just wait and see for that. And if you're looking at the lap times there on the left-hand side, Ed, we're kind of in no man's land with these next-gen times. We're looking at high 20s, low 21s, and the SK's in there at 19 and a half. The street stock's in there at 22.3. We're kind of in the middle.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, especially a heavy-duty car like we have with these next-gen cars. They're not going to be as competitive as, the super late models where they're trimmed to just go high speeds, even without revving out halfway through the corners. And just heavy, those things are just maxed out for basically fast speeds and corners and being able to turn. But those SK modifiers are kind of close for about, a second and some change off of that time. But other than that, kind of close between that. But I'm expecting a lot of patience out of these drivers tonight. I'm going to see how tire wear is going to be a factor in this too, because I feel like these drivers, as different as it is to Martinsville, we got a little bit more banking than we do here than Martinsville, Emerson, like you mentioned. The banking is going to be interesting to see if anybody's going to try maybe that 3rd lane or 2nd lane. But we all going to have to find out later and figure out what's going to happen.
And there it is. You can get a little bit of a look at it there with a car there exiting pit lane on the flat and the cars on the banking there. But let's look at what we've got coming into today's race, Ed. As you remember, last Wednesday was Elimination Wednesday for the Outlaws Sim Series boys, which means we have a new playoff field. Well, not new, but we have a more pronounced playoff field. We took the field of 16 down to 12. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye from championship competition to Doug Solms, James Gilliard, Brad Bothwell, and Derek McMurtry. But now it's a reset, clean reset. And the points have reset basically to the exact same that they were prior to round 1, with the exceptions of 14 more points to Adrian Schumacher's name and 5 more to Seth Fitzpatrick's name because of their wins and stage wins in the previous round. Other than that, the gaps to the cut line should be the same as if the cut line was 8th place in the first round. Besides Schumacher and Fitzpatrick, and let's take a look at it here, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that cutoff line, I mean, you got Seth Fitzpatrick, Jeremiah Stutzman, who are both above the 20s, looking pretty comfortable so far. I mean, we have all those guys clinched above with Seth Berger, Agent Schumacher, Matt Service, and Jonathan Jennings with a really comfortable points lead. But I do want to keep my eye around that 7th through about 11th. I feel like Matt Rogers has a good chance to make something happen. It's just I haven't seen enough from him out of that first round, besides when we went to Milwaukee Mile, to solidly say that he might have a slim chance of making it into that round of 8. But the one driver I'm really looking at my eyes out in the bottom half of this list, Emerson, I really do like Devin Smith's odds. You know, we saw him at Bristol. He had a really good fight with Landon Lacey for that win there, but he came up a little bit short. I just like how Devin Smith handles short tracks racing. He's there when he needs to be at the right time, and he's been having some pretty consistent finishes too. He finished in the top 10 at Milwaukee Mile, even had a good run going at the Charlotte Roval. But I just think that this round's going to play different for some of these guys below the cut line, even like Andrew St. Cyr, who might be able to make something happen. I just haven't seen enough out of Scott Bailey, in somewhat of a Jacob Reeves kind of, to say that I can solidly say that that top 8 is going to be exactly that top 8 when we are all said and done with these first 3 races of this round.
I would have to agree with you, Ed. It's tough to look at everybody in their current spot. I'd say maybe the top 4 the most certain, but even then, Seth Berger doesn't feel very confident coming into today's race. I mean, we could even see somebody up there fall their way out of the top 8. But you're right, it's gonna be a dogfight. Jacob Reeves was leading practice early. He's now down to 2nd. He's the one who's shown best so far in the 30 minutes, 45 minutes practice we've had so far, Ed. But we haven't even put these boys in race competition. And if you look at it, Ed, if you look -4 from the cut line for Devin Smith, Matt Rogers, and +2 for Reeves and Bailey, that is only a 6-point gap between Jacob Reeves, Scott Bailey, Andrew St. Cyr, Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, and Matt Rogers. This is a very tight bubble that we're going to have to keep our eyes on all day long. And of those 6 drivers, it, at the moment, only looks like 2 will make it. Could be 3 or 4 or even more if the drivers ahead have some trouble. But if we're looking at it, 6 drivers within 6 points, absolutely nuts to set up for a short track.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at how this round is going to be too, Emerson, this is going to be one of the more trickier rounds that we had on the schedule, especially with the Lakeland, Florida here with USA International. But then we're going to the big boy in Talladega Superspeedway, where anything can happen. We might even have a surprise winner that's not even in the playoffs, possibly making it out in that race and win. And then you finish it all off with Darlington, the Lady in Black, who's going to be a challenging test for some of these drivers who may or may not have a, basically a good issue with how their long run speed is. I mean, a lot of these drivers, they're basically known for mainly the short run to the middle run speed, but that Lady in Black's going to test you for a long, long night. So it's going to be an interesting way that we finish off this second round, but this is definitely going to be one of the key factors, I feel like, for some of these drivers that don't want to have that fear of going into Talladega next week and losing a ton of points.
Absolutely. And again, USA International and Darlington. So tonight's race and the race in 2 weeks' time, they have not been ran since season 1, Ed. And the driver who won this race in season 1 was Joshua Balliet, or Malico, and the driver who won Darlington in season 1 was Seth Berger. So we'll have to see if they can play out in a similar fashion. Actually, I don't even believe Balliet's going to be racing tonight at USA, and I know he definitely had USA circled on his calendar for this season, but don't know if he's going to show up tonight. But yeah, it's been a while since we've seen these tracks in Outlaws competition as well. So this round is kind of a little bit of a wild one. Tracks that we haven't seen in Outlaws competition in a while, plus the unknown at Talladega. That sets up for the final round at Homestead, Miami, the last real normal-ish speedway on the circuit with round 33. They have the super speedway at Atlanta, round 34, and then 2 short tracks around the season with North Wilkesboro and Richmond, which also, by the way, if you're looking for some clues on what's going to happen at North Wilkesboro and Richmond, Ed, tonight's going to be your last chance to really look at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want a taste of what Richmond's going to be like when you hit in these championship round, I mean, you got to look at this and North Wilkesboro possibly as possibly your championship favorites. I mean, both of those tracks kind of play almost like a Richmond. I know this is a little bit longer straightaways and all, but I mean, this is the short track taste that these drivers are going to have before we go to Richmond. But I really think that North Wilkesboro is going to be that one race where we're going to look at and be like, okay, this guy's definitely going to be one we have to watch going into that final race into Richmond. But I just don't know how these drivers are going to react after tonight. There's a lot on the line, and I know some drivers are thinking after the last round because of how pressured they were to make it. I mean, Andrew St. Cyr, just think, was below the cut line before this whole first round even started, and he made it into the next round due to finishing well in the first couple of races. But I mean, if you're somebody like Jacob Rees in that beginning stage, you just gotta be careful of those final races. I mean, this one race could make or break your season.
Absolutely. And we'll have to find out. We'll have to take a look and see how everything does play out in terms of seasons being made or broken starting tonight. Before we do that, we have to give a shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV. Of course, Whiplash Media Sim Cams, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV, brings you these lovely sights and sounds. Sounds not on yet, but sights and sounds from each and every location that we have here on the iRacing Motorsport Simulations platform that we have to bring to you live on Pit Stop TV. Whiplash Media Sim Cams has camera packs for you. Head over to pitstoptv.com/whiplash to see how you can go about getting yourself your hands on one of these Whiplash Media Sim Cam packs. Sim Rat Market, formerly known as Heatwave Designs, simratmarket.com is a site that they really crank out some amazing schemes. But they make base paint schemes for a plethora of vehicles on VIRacing.com motorsport simulations platform. And there are schemes that you can buy and you can edit to however you need, or just buy and slap some logos on there and call it yours. But if you're somebody who doesn't really have the time or creativity to paint, or just wants a new outlook on a vehicle you've been driving on the sim, head over to simratmarket.com and see if they've got some paints for you. And make sure to use code PSTV at checkout for, I believe it is a 10% discount off your order at simratmarket.com. And of course, permanent makeup and cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. And you can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. Now add into the waning moments of practice, under 7 minutes remaining. I'm not surprised to see Jonathan Jennings at the top of the board on a short track. It's from then on that I do look and see what kind of a race is going to play out behind him at the moment. Who has your eye? Who's catching your eye on this practice charts? On these practice shirts?
I mean, we mentioned it before, Emerson. I mean, we're talking about the below that cutoff line and possibly some drivers that make or break with this race. I want to see if we can't get a hold of the driver of the number 22, Jacob Rees, who's currently second on the leaderboards currently right now. See what he's thinking going into this race tonight.
Sure thing. Bringing on up driver of the number 22, Jacob Reeves. And there he is, Ed.
Jacob Rees is the boys in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, Jacob, I know you've been telling us all this whole season that you weren't really going to practice all that much because you felt like the luck was on your side. So, I mean, if this is your practice run for tonight, it's looking pretty good. Second on the charts with that fast number 22 Chevrolet. How's she feeling out there right now?
She feeling pretty good. She a little bit loose, but I think it's going to play into our favor a little bit. We've actually practiced a little bit more this week, knowing that this is the second round of playoffs. So, we put a lot of effort in this car. Thanks, special shout out to Michael Connie for Race CPI for hooking us up with a setup this week. It's blazing fast. We just got to hold on to her. She's a fast hot rod. We just got to hold on to her.
Now, we mentioned in the pre-race how tight this points battle is between not only yourself but those final about 5 or 6 drivers, all the way from about 12th onto you. It's about a 6-point gap. Does it worry you at all any tonight a little bit that one mistake that might happen might ruin your season, or do you feel like you have the confidence builder in yourself to be able to get stage points tonight and maybe build that cushion a little bit from 7th on back?
We got a a little bit of confidence in ourselves right now. Obviously, second on the board, and got a lot of confidence. As much practice as we put in for the past couple days, trying to get this car ready to go for tonight. I'm not gonna really worry about what everybody else is doing. I'm just gonna run my race and try to get the best finish I can. Try to get as many stage points as I can, and hopefully try to win. I mean, I'm not gonna really worry about everybody else. I'm gonna just drive my car and let the points take care of themselves, and hopefully we'll be on the good side of it.
Well, man, hopefully that speed carries into the race session for you, and good luck tonight, man, and have a good race, and hopefully we'll be talking to you later.
Yeah, I hope so. That 91's real fast. He helped us out a little bit, made a couple quick changes right before the race right here, so shout out to Jonathan for helping me out with that, but we'll do what we can. I appreciate it, guys.
That is driver of the number 22, Jacob Reeves, and trying to see here. Yeah, so I had one request this week. To kind of speak about the situation involving one of the playoff drivers. There's never one of those drivers involved, but Kevin Powell is up here with us, and Kevin looks like a beautiful hot rod, by the way, in support of breast cancer awareness this month. Well, first, before we even get into all
it's pregnancy loss and infant loss awareness, same month.
Well, there you go. I was gonna ask if you could speak a little bit more on this beautiful livery. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So unfortunately, me and my wife had a miscarriage about a month ago now. So talking to the guys, working through the pain and everything, realized that some guys have suffered previous or the same thing. So we were looking at the month and everything, and it just happens to be the same thing, same color. So we thought we would represent it tonight in this race, and there's probably four of us with the same paint scheme, just maybe different base color.
But there you go. So we've heard Jacob tell his story all throughout the season, and it really has been the kind of the feel good story of the season. Seeing that he does well, and we can hopefully add this similar kind of sentiment to you this season here, Kevin. First, I do want to say I'm sorry for your loss, but it's great that you're giving us the chance to at least hear your story, and you're putting on this beautiful livery here tonight for a race, and I'd imagine 4 of a month here for pregnancy and infant loss. And
yes.
The kind of switch gears you are now here that has you 11th on the practice charts. How are you feeling about USA International?
I really love short track racing. I do extremely well. However, I had some equipment failure, so my main rig is in the shop right now, and I'm back on one that I had when I first started out, so it's a challenge. I feel like I need a handicap.
Well, we're hoping the best for you in that regard. Now, I know I was speaking to you earlier this week. You said you did kind of want to speak on the situation. You had a couple of run-ins with Max throughout the season. I think now it's 3 different times that y'all have made some contact. So if you want to speak about that, what you want to say?
Well, yeah, so I'm not sure at Nashville. I think the incident was I called out. I was pitting, and he must not have heard me, and he got into me. When I got into him at Milwaukee, it was total accident. I was trying to run St. Core down, and I peeked my nose, but I probably peeked it at the wrong time, and I got into him. And last week, I'm not sure. He says he overdrove the corner, but I didn't think that would be a good corner to try to pass in, because he said he was trying to make the pass. But it is what it is. I wish him the best of luck, but I gotta race my hardest.
Well, there you go. Practice is ticking down to a close here, Kevin. again, appreciate you speaking out, and yeah, best luck to you tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is driver of the number 93, Kevin Powell. And now we're going to get qualifying started here, Ed. Time to get down to business. It's time to set the starting lineup for the opening round the opening race in the second round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. And heading to the track, finally, we have some action on the track. Let's catch up with Season 1 Outlaws Sim Series champion, Seth Berger.
As we see Seth Berger rolling off pit exit here. Try to carry as much speed as he can going into this turn 3 and 4. As you see how crazy the banking is at this track. I mean, I remember a little bit of it, but it's been so long since I've been here and ran races. But it's just crazy to me to see on this onboard how the banking is compared to some of these other short tracks that we've been to recently. But as we see Seth trying to get a fast lap going here down the back straightaway, you see carrying as much speed as you can down into the corners, all the way about 80 miles an hour. You're trying to get back up through the gas without overcorrecting the car and spinning out. Right now, gonna sit him at the top of the charts with a 21.2. Not a bad lap so far for Seth Berger.
Scott Bailey now places it atop the charts at a 4 times ran now. Newcomer to the series, Hunter Simpson. This is somebody I wanted to get a look at. Not really sure what to expect out of this 15 machine.
No, I believe I'm with you on that one, Emerson. A newcomer to the league with, again, a very tribute paint scheme on board this 15 car, but so far so good. Looking pretty good through these corners with a 21.0. Seeing it so far, everybody's about slower than as they were in practice, but the only one that's been fastest so far from practice is Scott Bailey, who's right now at the top of the charts for us.
Well, I've been looking right on board with this lap here with Hunter Simpson. He is in third gear all the way around this track. Very intriguing outlook there on the lap. It's placed on top of the charts by a couple tenths, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. And I think now, Ed, this is somebody we've been keeping our eyes on for a couple weeks when we talk about USA International and Jonathan Jennings, the driver who has dominated the short tracks this season. Has a moment out of turn 4, and I believe he was trying to whoa up before starting that next timed lap. He is going to burn another lap there and reset. So problems for the 91 of Jonathan Jennings, the odds-on favorite coming into tonight's race, has to reset in qualifying, and he'll go at it again.
Yeah, I'm really odd to see some of these drivers right now, how they're testing their cars right now in qualifying. What's weird to me is that some of these guys are running their fastest laps on that third lap, Emerson. And you know how we run 3 laps for qualifying in the Outlaw Sim Series. But most of these tracks that we've been to, a lot of these drivers have been running their fastest lap on the second. But this is new now with everybody running their third fastest lap. Their third lap as the fastest lap, excuse me. But
and you know,
to go to the top.
And you know that's probably why Jennings tried so hard to whoa up before the start finish line there to get that extra lap, but he crossed the line there, so he burnt one of those laps. So for Jennings, he's gonna be in some trouble here.
Yeah, and I'm watching him again, and he just put down his last lap right now. Right now he's P5 at a 21.026. So
do it.
Not a terrible starting spot,
right,
no matter what. But I think he has good long run pace to where I think he can match up with those leaders as we're on board now. With somebody who I think needs to have a good run tonight in order to make it through to this next round. Andrew St. Cyr, 2 points below the cut line, Emerson. I think he has a chance to be able to make it up.
Yeah, Andrew St. Cyr, definitely one of the drivers I thought has been very fast this season. Now, I do think this is a track type that does not favor Andrew St. Cyr, and these short tracks might prove to be a little difficult for him. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Andrew St. Cyr in the Ryan Blaney-inspired Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang, working around now on his second lap, and you can see he's trying to diamond these corners. He's entering a little hard than about where you would apex the corner. He's up in that second lane, starts turning the car down to kind of straight line the exit, get some more speed down the straightaway. Right now it has him slowest of the times 14th, but he is trying this diamond, trying to see how this works out for him.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this kind of might play a little bit of a kind of beneficiary for Andrew St. Cyr. You know, he did run really well back a couple weeks ago when we were at New Hampshire. He really had some great speed in New Hampshire, and I kind of want to say this has some odd familiarity with New Hampshire. Like, some of the corners may react almost like a New Hampshire, to where You have that high entry like he's running right here, and then kind of cutting in like a diamond, like you mentioned, off the exit. So it may be playing a little bit of a similarity for Andrew St. Corsa. Maybe that will help him in the race.
And that'll do 4 of a 12 machine. Still yet to take the track, Adam Gardner, Max Service, Jeremiah Stutzman, Matthew Byers, Vincent Cortez, and Doug Solms. 14 times have been put down on the charts so far. And I'd imagine we're going to get a Stutzman, maybe a Service soon here. Other than that, we are a little bit of a holding pattern here in qualifying. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's coming up next here on Pit Stop TV later this week. Sunday in the afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, the Sim Pit has their third race of the season. Third race of the season. They're at Watkins Glen this Sunday with their GTE machines. You won't want to miss all the amazing action from the Sim Pit this Sunday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Tuesday night, VRS Advanced Legends Cup. Yes, the official Legends Cup series here on iRacing. They're going to be at Lanier Raceplex. So if you like these little Legend Coupes here on the service and you think you can make top split in Advanced Legends Cup at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night, jump on in, run some laps at Lanier Raceplex, and just might be on broadcast. And next Wednesday night, Ed, we have Outlaws Sim Series playoff action from the big, bad Talladega Super Speedway. We now have 3 cars heading to the track, though, Ed, so it's time to get back to qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Max Service out on track right there in the 81 Burghardt Hellman Chevrolet. Going for his first lap right there, puts him on a 21.3, which right now would put him 14th fastest out of the 15 that have qualified so far. But as we've seen through all these other drivers, that second and third lap have been the faster for most of these drivers. So let's see if he can pick it up going into turns 3 and 4 as he's coming to take his final lap, possibly.
Yes, he's starting his 4th lap here. Sorry, his 3rd lap.
Big. That's a big pickup there. He gained about 2/10 right there off of that lap. All right, now puts him P9. But one thing we were mentioning, we were talking with him, Emerson, and he was struggling with just that long run pace. They couldn't find that long run pace in the Swift Racing machine. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys handle tonight as he picks up again going on that other lap to P6 with a 21.046. So good lap for Max Service. But so far, like I was saying, those Swift guys, they were having a little bit of struggle in practice, but hopefully they can pick it up in race. But right now they're looking pretty good on the qualifying charts.
On board, Jeremiah Stutzman, as Service puts it 6th quickest. Stutzman on his final lap, trying to see what he can muster up out of the 71 machine into the line. Like it'll stay 15th quickest.
Yeah, it was a pickup, but not really a big chunk pickup for them.
Oh, look at this. Beautiful pink car for Adam Gardner.
Almost looks like a purple and pink.
I'm going to assume pink for breast cancer awareness, but
Oh, yeah,
beautiful
absolutely.
car. Wow. Bring in
Nice
the
little
heat.
mix. Yeah, you can see that car from a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, Adam, right now, his first lap was a 21.9. Let's see if he picks it up here. And I imagine he does. Yes, he does. He picks up 4/10. That still keeps him in 18th for now.
His last
Looks like
time
he's
lap
struggling
here.
right now. It looks like he's struggling almost like the middle of the corner on entry. Like entry to middle of the corner, he's struggling, it looks like. He looked like he can't get the car to rotate to the bottom all that well.
Yeah,
That's
lots
good
of
there
there.
off before.
Like, drivers are just tight there. And you know what? That makes sense. You know, the nighttime is falling here, Ed. So while the grip is up, temperatures are lower. These cars are going to be tighter.
Yeah, especially in, you know, not as much of a temperature kind of difference I've seen. I mean, it's been around the 60s all night as I've seen in practice, so these drivers are kind of struggling with the grip like you mentioned. But if this was a day race, we would be probably seeing a lot of drivers getting loose because that heat in Florida, you know how that big of a difference that would make. It would make it slick. As you see on the temps right now, 69 degrees with a little bit of a wind in the northwest at about 4 miles an hour. But It's gonna be interesting to see. Like we said, I would expect, like you mentioned, Emerson, we're gonna see some tight conditions tonight. Might have to play a little bit of a setup change possibly for some of these drivers. Maybe making some pit stops and seeing how they maybe make adjustments with their cars tonight.
And qualifying is going to tick over, which means driver of the number 2, Seth Fitzpatrick, will be on our Pratt Tile and Stone pole position here for tonight's race. Again, Pratt Tile and Stone serving Central Vermont since 2005. Now it's time, Ed, to go through our starting lineup for this evening's race, and how about it? Row number 1, it'll be the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick and Hunter Simpson there in the 15, newcomer to the series, will start second. Row 2 will be a couple more playoff drivers, and Scott Bailey and Seth Berger, third and fourth. 5th and 6th also an all playoff row with Jennings and Service. I'm sorry, row 3, 5th and 6th. Row 4, another non-playoff driver there, Justin McMahon, the 20, and playoff driver there, Adrian Schumacher, who won 2 races in the opening round, looking to see if he can keep up that success to try to emerge as one of the title favorites this season. And in row number 5, we'll find a couple more playoff drivers in the 22 of Jacob Reeves and the 96 of Matt Rogers.
Yeah, row number 6, we got playoff driver Devin Smith, who's on the outside looking in, trying to get some stage points tonight. Alongside him, the 5 of Matthew Setzer. Row number 7, the 93 of Kevin Powell, who we mentioned earlier, looking to have a great night tonight. Alongside him, another playoff driver, Andrew St. Cor, who's also on the outside looking in. Row number 8, 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman, a playoff driver. Alongside him, the 94 of Matthew Byers. Row number 9, the 97 of Sam Borden. Alongside him, league owner and playoff driver, the 56 of Adam Gardner. And in row 10, Vincent Cortez of the 23. Alongside him, the 67 of Doug Solms.
So that is our 20 driver lineup for tonight's race. Track being a 3/4 mile track, that means we have 2 pace laps on tap for this evening's race. But give us the time to talk about the stage lengths for tonight's race. And stages, of course, are at the completion of said lap. The top 10 will be awarded stage points, regardless of session state, green or yellow. And there will be no change of session state. There will be no caution flag, no break or anything for the stages. But stage 1 will conclude at the completion of lap 45. And stage 2 will conclude at the completion of lap 101. So 45 and 101, Ed, are our 2 stages this evening. And again, the top 10 will be awarded stage points at that. Looks like Vincent Cortez did not make the grid for this evening's race, and looking like he may just not partake in tonight's race. So that means it's a 19-car field shaking up and getting ready for the action this evening. Ed, final thoughts before we get going here?
I'm ready. Round 2 of the playoffs. Let's kick it off with a good one. How about we go some late night short track racing? I'm ready for it.
Yes, sir. I love it. Once again, Ed Scher alongside for the call of this evening. I am Emerson Arden, and the field is in the hands of the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick, and we are green from USA. One lap complete. It is Seth Fitzpatrick out in front of the field, and Hunter Simpson slotted in there in second. Scott Bailey there in third. Jennings for Seth Berger, battling it out right now with Justin McMahon for that 5th position.
Yeah, I think Seth is in not the also familiar territory where he wants to be on the outside. Everyone trying to work their way down to the bottom right now currently to try to get their tires to manage throughout this rest of the race as Justin McMahon clears Seth Berger for that spot.
Oh,
McMahon actually gets into the wall.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, he's got some decent right side damage to that 20 machine. Let's see if that affects him later in the run. So, not the great start for that 20 car as now Agent Schumacher looks to the inside of him going into 1.
And something amiss with the 20 of Justin McMahon. Let's try to go back and grab a replay and see what happened to the 20 machine. Looks like we're going to get it here. This is coming off of turn 2. Just gets loose. Overcorrects it into the wall.
And that's why I mentioned Emerson. Those guys are going to get on the gas a little too soon. The car's going to want to step out, and it's not going to be happy when it steps out. You're going to have to overcorrect and possibly put yourself in the fence to make it not spin out.
All that happens, puts Seth Berger a little bit of clear track, and he sets the fastest lap of the race there. Now Fitzpatrick sets it ever faster. Jennings goes faster.
Yeah, I'm not really so surprised with Jennings running the fastest lap. I mean, he really had some good race pace that I saw in practice, but I'm looking a little bit further back. Adrian Schumacher still struggling to get around this wounded 20 machine right now. The 20's hanging tough on the outside with that right side damage, but I don't know how much longer it's going to be able to hang on.
And Adrian clears a 20. Now Jacob Reeves wants a piece of Justin McMahon. McMahon pounds the wall again.
Yeah, he got loose off of 2. Looks like he's just struggling right now with center off on exit. He's just not having the car handled enough to rotate on exit to where he can get the power down. And I think he's just getting the power down way too sooner than he thinks. So he might have to back up a little bit more than he thinks, or else he's going to be taking a trip in the inside wall.
So our all-star race winner, Justin McMahon, is in trouble early here. And is struggling to get off of turn 4 there. I'm sorry, turn 2 there.
Yeah, if you're Jacob Breeze behind him, how aggressive do you want to push to get by this 20? You know he's wounded. You see him struggling on the exit each corner, and you don't want to let those guys in front get away. Those are points in the stage for yourself. So
Adam
you gotta try to
Gardner, a
get
little bit of a
position.
moment. Looks like Gardner saves it. Try to cut you off there. Just saw Adam nearly collide with that inside wall. Able to catch it there.
Yeah, we were saying these drivers are going to struggle with tightness. It looks like we're seeing a lot of loose drivers on exit.
You know what I think, Ed? I think maybe these drivers thought their cars were really loose in qualifying. Maybe made an adjustment and maybe over-adjusted on the cars.
And that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking they maybe saw how tight it was in qualifying. These guys may have different setups compared to their qualifying sets. And a lot of these drivers might be pushing their limits a little too far over the edge to possibly where they're going to burn their stuff up early on in this race.
So far, it is Seth Fitzpatrick out in front over Hunter Simpson and Jonathan Jennings, the top 3. Scott Bailey, Seth Berger ran out the top 5. Max Service, Adrian Schumacher, Justin McMahon, Jacob Reeves. Trying to figure out who this 10th there. I believe that is
Matthew Setzer.
Matthew Setzer. It's all green car back.
Yeah.
Top 10 here.
And out of all that, Justin McMahon's actually looking on the back of Adrian Schumacher again. So I don't think this 20 is really struggling all that much right now with all that damage he's got. I actually think this whole line of traffic's getting held up by the 81 at Max Service, actually. As everybody else so far has been checked out to about a 2-second gap over this 81. I think the 81's just really struggling and holding up the rest of this traffic behind them.
Well, remember we were talking to Max earlier, right? And it was a lot of, he was trying to see, trying to get that everything to work out in that number 81 machine. Yeah, he said he had to go back to the drawing board with the front springs.
Yeah, the way they were talking, it was like they couldn't get the left sides to just want to be happy. Like they couldn't get the car to rotate, honestly.
Bit of a battle here.
To see.
Yeah,
Jennings is just getting him. Oh, I think Hunter's going to let him go. I think he knows he's faster. Might as well save your tires a little bit, let him go. You know, Jennings just has the faster car. And I mean, it's just unreal the kind of pace we're seeing now. Jonathan Jennings right now, he's just clicking off some really fast lap times compared to our leader, Seth Fitzpatrick, right now. Doug Solms with an issue.
67 to Doug Solms, one of our 3 Canadians in the field. In trouble on the pit lane early here. And it may be an early night for the 67. There is no visible damage on that car as far as I can tell. Looks like he's getting service still.
Interesting. A little early for service.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think these drivers are going to be looking for a pit stop probably until, I would take a guess, maybe lap 70, lap 80?
Yeah, I'm guessing around lap 80 or so. Another driver, it looks like they just do not have the right setup in or something. Adam Gardner has been struggling. Number 56 machine. It is not to his liking. Looks like it just can't turn off the corner the way he wants. Can't carry the speed to the center the way he wants. Adam is struggling and may be in trouble here very soon.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm hoping for a caution soon. I mean, I think he's about 10 laps, maybe a little bit further or so from going a lap down to our leader, Seth Fitzpatrick.
We got some action here
half a
between
straightaway
the teammates.
back. Yeah, and I think everyone's finally understood that they have to get around Mac's service. I think Mac's just a little too slow for some of these guys right now. I think he's waiting for this long run to hopefully kick in and be better. Oh, Jacob Breeze is going to send it up to the inside of the 81. He has to back out of it or else he would have wrecked the 81 there. But like I said, I think Jacob Breeze is starting to show a little bit more of aggression here. He's going to go over the back bumper of the 81 there, give him a little shot.
Now he gets Breeze is going around front straightaway, the 22 machine.
Oh, and everybody's going to try to avoid him. Going to back it up and get going. Again, that's why I mentioned you don't want to be too aggressive early on, or else you're going to lose those so important stage points. And that just looks like a cause of incident there.
Absolutely, we're gonna get a replay of it. Reeves, he saw the spot open up, right? Even a little bit of contact there to the rear end of Max, and tried to get on the gas, went around. No contact with any car, no contact with the wall. So he'll keep going. We'll stay green. Fortunate circumstance there for Jacob Reeves, though. Remember, Ed, he was one of those drivers just above the cut line.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt him.
That's huge.
This first stage is going to come over quick, too. We're about 24 laps in. We're going to lap 40, the end of lap 45, so that's when everyone's going to get those so important stage points to make it onto that next stage. Next stage is going to be at lap 102, so if I'm Jacob Breeze right now, I'm thinking about possibly just making it all the way to that second stage if you can. I mean, those tires have got to be shot from that spin he took. It was a decent spin, so his tires got to be lit up a little bit to where they're not going to be to where he wants them right now. But I definitely like what I'm seeing so far out of a couple of these drivers right now. One importantly, Devin Smith. He hasn't really been going forward or backwards. He's been maintaining this 11th place spot, but I think when it's all said and done, I think we're going to see him rise to the occasion possibly later in this race and maybe fight for a top 5 finish. I just think he has really good short run speed to where he can compete with some of these guys towards the end of the race.
And well, you know what? I highlight him because while he doesn't have it yet, right? One more driver in front of him has a mistake, and that puts Devin Smith in a spot to get one stage point in about 20 laps or so. Well, Jacob Reeves just gave up that potential. Also, Jeremiah Sussman's catching. Also, Andrew St. Cyr just got overtaken by Matt Rogers. We got a lot of movement here for these playoff drivers between 11th and 14th.
Yeah, I've been watching Andrew the last couple of laps. He doesn't look like he has the car he wants right now. He's just struggling to get it to rotate to the bottom as he's able to get it there just a little bit, but it just does not look like the car is also happy in his occasion right now. Matt Rogers was able to get by him pretty easily there, and I'm looking back up at the front. It looks like Andrew and Max are both struggling with the same thing. They just can't get their car to basically get in the rotation in the middle of the corners. It's like they're just so slow compared to some of these other guys. Matthew Setzer has been trying to find a way around this 81 for the last couple of laps now.
And the good news for Max is with Reeves falling out, he can even fall back behind Powell and still be sat in the stage points. Bad news is he has hungry playoff drivers behind Powell that need a stage pointer to improve their standing, especially someone like Devin Smith, who came in below the cut line and saw one of his playoff competitors have some trouble. This is a keen opportunity for a little bit of contact to the rear end of the 81 there with Matthew Setzer.
Yeah, and to think, Matthew Setzer's not a playoff driver, so he doesn't have to treat these guys like they're also important. He's racing for himself. So it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive he's going to be to try to get around this 81, as he knows he's faster than him. What is he going to do to be able to get by him? And then just behind them, the 93 of Kevin Powell. We've seen incidents between both the 81 and 93 in the recent past in the last coming weeks. I don't know if it's all said and done, but I don't know if I want to see what happens between these two when they get side by side.
Something tells me it's not done yet, Ed. We'll have to see, but let's just say the regular season champion and someone who was starting to emerge as the favorite to win the title this season. Hey, it looked like they're in a little bit of trouble.
No, and Adam Gardner has just recently gone a lap down. So like I mentioned, Adam did not get that own support and caution that he wanted. But the good news is He's the only car that's one lap down so far, so even if a caution were to come out, he would get the free pass. But the next one to go a lap down is Jacob Reeves, who's been struggling a little bit to find that speed after spinning out earlier on that front straightaway to get back up through the field. He's not running terrible lap times. He's running faster lap times than the leaders right now, but it's just he has to hopefully keep it going to where Seth Fitzpatrick and Jonathan Jennings don't get him. And Jennings is actually starting to catch a little bit. It's been maintaining the gap just a tad bit, but hasn't been where Jennings has been faster or not. Ooh, and Jennings almost hit the wall there. He had a little moment off exit.
You saw it. For the other driver who was starting to become a favorite in the championship chase was Jonathan Jennings. On board Jennings as he tries to chase down teammate Seth Fitzpatrick for the race lead. 11 laps to go in stage number 1.
And something must have happened with Max service. Max actually got fallen back all the way back past Matthew Setzer and Kevin Powell, so he's behind both of those drivers now. Now the last car to be able to get points at the end of the stage, as we're only about 10 laps away from this stage being over. I think Max is just hoping to see that green-white checkered.
Well, we saw Setzer and Powell make that move on Max there. Max really just had no choice but to file in behind.
Yeah, and the other thing, though, Jeremiah Stutzman is slowly but surely catching Max service, too.
Right.
Max is not having great pace right now. Max's last lap was a 21.8, and our leaders are running about 21.5, so he's about 3/10 off the pace compared to our leaders' times.
We're riding on board there with Jonathan Jennings. He actually lost the 10th in his attempt to chase down Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Seth just looks like he's having a calm Sunday right now, just driving.
Yeah, you're right. I'd definitely say that. Been Seth Fitzpatrick since the drop of the green flag. Holding station over Jonathan Jennings. About 3 seconds back, then to Hunter Simpson. Scott Bailey sat in 4th. Seth Berger 5th. McMahon 6th. Schumacher 7th. Powell 8th. Setzer 9th. Service 10th. With 6 laps to go in stage 1. Stutzman might be forcing the issue here. We might get a little bit of a battle soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Stutzman knows he needs those stage points. He needs to be able to get points to be able to make it on to the next round. I know he has a decent cushion.
Oh, sideways though.
Yeah, you don't want to push it too hard to where you can spin out. We saw that with Jacob Reeves earlier, but we saw him go around Devin Smith earlier for 11. Now trying to get by Max Service. A little bit further behind after that little incident, but he should be able to make it all back up sooner or later. It looks like Max is kind of catching Matthew Setzer a little bit again. Matthew Setzer looks like he's having a little bit of struggle right now. As you see, those rotors are glowing on the 5.
You know, maybe we're getting to the point now. Maybe it's a turnover point for the tires, right? Maybe Max was just saving tires early, and now it's going to get that rolling back to these guys.
Yeah, but if he's going to be able to get that point, he needs to make it soon rather than later, as we're about 4 laps away from the stage being over.
Well, I believe Max feels points are not a necessity at the moment because he has a large gap over the cut line. But you're right. In this position, you should be thinking about points, grabbing that last point before the completion of lap 45.
Oh, yeah, you got to think, too.
There. Reeves got by Rogers.
You also have to think, and Reeves is going to go around again.
Jacob Reeves spins out, goes a lap down, and something amiss for the 22 machine. And we'll see it here. We're going to watch the overtake and the mistake from the 22.
It does not look like the start that I was expecting from this 22. It just looks like he's pushing a little too hard.
Gets a spot,
Yeah,
and then
right there.
sideways and spins again, locks it down, pounds the wall. Wow.
And just not the night that the 22 was hoping for. That's probably going to be a little bit of extensive repairs with that right side being dented up a little bit as we saw the 20. But the 20 is actually managing pretty well back at 6th place. He's actually hunting the 77 down a little bit as he's actually running Seth Berger down for
And
5th.
here we go. Seth Fitzpatrick's going to win stage 1 over Jonathan Jennings. Hunter Simpson. Scott Bailey comes across the line at 4th. Berger holds station over McMahon for 5th and 6th. Schumacher 7th. Powell 8th. Into the line. It'll be Setzer 9th, Max Service 10th, Jeremiah Stutzman, Devin Smith will just miss out on stage points.
Yeah, and that's going to be one that I think Jeremiah is going to want to look back and think, is there anything he could have done different to maybe get those stage points? I know he has a decent cushion, but all those stage points all matter so much, and especially for Max. I know Max has a really good cushion, but think about the people he's racing up at the front. Jennings finished second in that stage. Adrian Schumacher was 7th in that stage. Seth Berger was top 5 in that stage.
Yep.
All those guys got more points than Max there. So Max is going to start falling down this order if he doesn't get it going here and possibly get some more important stage points, as we see the 71 go around the 5 and Matthew Setzer. Now it looks like Devin Smith is going to try to peek his nose in there and try to get around too.
Now this is important for Devin Smith to get near and inside the top 10. Devin Smith is one of those with who only had, actually he was below the cut line, so he needs points. Scott Bailey was one of those who's only 2 points above the cut line. He got some stage points tonight. That's going to be a little bit of a boost there. 5 points, Scott Bailey's name.
Yeah, Scott Bailey must have had an issue or some sort. I don't know if we caught it.
Actually, you're right. Actually, he was 4th, so
yeah, he fell back
points.
2 spots now. He's got by Justin McMahon and Seth Berger both got by him. Now Justin's actually looking underneath the 77 now for 4th, but wasn't able to get there. But yeah, the 11 must have had an issue or some sort, or corrected it, because he lost 2 spots. So luckily the 11's still going and rolling, but now we see the 71 over the back bumper of the 81. This would be interesting because I think this is where Jeremiah's going to start maybe playing a little bit more aggressive, because we have a longer stage now. We're going to 101. So, and plus we're going to have a green flag pit stop possibly towards the end of this stage, as we're probably going to be around lap 75 to 80 if my guess. Not really entirely sure what the fuel mileage is in these cars at this track, but my guess is 75 to 80, so if anything, I think he's going to want to gain as much track position as he possibly can before he makes that stop.
Here's how I'm thinking about it, Ed. It's a 3/4 mile track. Obviously not similar shape, but similar running to Richmond. And Stutzman makes the pass. He will not clear yet, though. And looks like he clears now in front of the 81 of Max Service to move Jeremiah Stutzman to 9th, as somebody was lagging there. Starting to jump around on time and it's scoring there. But looks like it looks like Adrian Schumacher might be the one in trouble here.
Yeah, Adrian's not here. Oh, there he is.
Adrian is 82 machine is struggling to stay in the session, but luckily no one's around him, so he's not impacting anyone at the moment.
And this battle for 4th is heating up a little bit. Just McMahon was able to get around Seth Berger for 4th, but Seth is now under fire from the 11 and Scott Bailey a little bit. But I'm really surprised to see how Seth Berger's doing. I know Seth Berger is having the same setup as most of his Swift Racing teammates, but seeing Max Service struggle as he has, and just not something I expected. Yeah, it looks like Justin almost did a diamond maneuver to get around and get inside of the 77 there.
Hope this nose in there. Seth had no choice but to give up the line. Then it went side by side down the back and cleared it into 3.
It's really interesting too. We saw how heavy of an impact that 20 made with the wall, and he's still able to keep some decent speed up with these leaders. And he's pulled away from the 77 too. Now he's going to try to run down that 15 of Hunter Simpson, who's having a pretty fine day so far in the 3rd place.
Yeah, not too shabby for the newcomer, huh? The 15 of Hunter Simpson. First start here in the Outlaws Sim Series. He started 2nd. He's currently 3rd. He's only been as low as 3rd. Hunter Simpson through 1 stage. Has yet to make a pit stop, but everybody has yet to make a pit stop.
Not really much action going on around here. The only one I'm seeing so far is Devin Smith and Matthew Setzer. Devin's been catching a little bit here and
Max
there.
Service is dropping. Service is now dropped outside the top 10. We've seen now Matthew Setzer back in that 10th position. Devin Smith now. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for Devin Smith, but he needs to get around this 5 car sometime in the next 40 laps, 45 laps or so. 41 laps. I can math. 41 laps or so for stage points.
And Max is actually in jeopardy of going a lap down. The leaders are right. The leader, Seth Fitzpatrick, is literally 2 cars behind him. If I'm Max, it looks like Borden hit the wall. Well, now Max is the next car that's going to be going a lap down. If I'm Max, I'm thinking about maybe freeing up this car a little bit. It just looks like he's struggling to be on entry and exit. He just can't get the car to rotate. He looks like he even struggles to get the power down on exit, too.
I want to shout out Nick Shepard in our Facebook chat. Well, I can shout him out for myself because he said, happy belated birthday. Tagged me in it. I appreciate it, Nick. Yeah. Turned 21 on Thursday. It was a great time. Went down to Charlotte with a few of these drivers in the field. Had a great time. Seth Fitzpatrick now putting a lap on. Fortunately, one of those drivers that didn't mean max service. Is going 1 lap down there to Seth Fitzpatrick. Here's the battle for 10th.
Yeah, and Devin Smith has caught the 5 of Matthew Setzer. Devin's going to be looking to the inside of the 5. I don't know if Matthew Setzer's going to be able to fight this off right now, but it looks like he is on that outside line. Gets a good launch off the corner exit, but Devin's going to drive it in there and make it sticks, and he's clear. So move Devin Smith into 10th place for the stage towards the end of lap 101.
Devin Smith puts it in 10th. Clears by Matthew Setzer. He does have to watch out for the leader directly behind, but he's faring well as a driver who needs some points. Oh, misses the bottom there, entering 3.
Yeah, but you'll be able to keep it a little bit onto the top. He's going to have to try to get the power down a little bit more earlier than this 5 car. And this is something that's going to hold up the leader, too. Seth Fitzpatrick does not want to see this in front of him, as Jennings is slowly but surely going to gain a little bit of time from these 2 battling as hard as they are.
So Setzer back to 10th. Fitzpatrick clears.
That 2.
You're right. Fitzpatrick clears Devin Smith. Not yet, actually. This who drives back down on the outside. Now Fitzpatrick trying to clear by Matthew Setzer. Setzer's not going to give it up, though. Not easily, as Fitzpatrick does clear him. But Fitzpatrick laps both of them. Setzer holds on to 10th, and now Devin Smith has to go at him again.
And Justin McMahon, just to update you guys, has gone around the 15 of Hunter Simpson for 3rd. So Justin McMahon, that 20, really has some good speed as we see the 95 close up really, really fast on that 5. Oh, the 5 looked like it had an issue off the exit. Now the 95 is going to be back to his inside, try to clear him in the next corner in 3 and 4.
So Devin Swift now clears to 10th. And you're right, McMahon blows by the 15 of Hunter Simpson. Does that look easy? Jacob Reeves trying to drive through the field once again. And clears by teammate Sam Borden. Now, Jacob Reeves, he may be one to spoil the party for Devin Smith, looking for some stage points here.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Jacob Reeves has been making a decent recovery. He's up to 13th, especially with that damage. It seems like everybody that we see with that damage has made a decent recovery. I mean, that 20 actually is running the fastest lap on the racetrack. He's pretty fast. So that might be somebody we have to look at towards the end of this race to possibly even spoil a win for these playoff drivers. But Jacob Reeves has made a decent recovery. The next guy's going to look to try to pass is that guy in front of him in the 5, and Matthew Setzer, who just got passed by the 91 of Jennings, who's on a different lap strategy than him. But Jacob Reeves needs 2 spots to be able to get points. And we're only about 30 laps away from this stage being over, but we're going to be seeing some green flag stops, I feel like, soon.
Absolutely. I believe we are close to the green flag pit stops, then the start of the race for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Got a lot of traffic here in front of Jonathan Jennings.
Yeah, you still got to get around Devin Smith, who's on the inside of Adam Gardner. That's not for position, but those two being side by side is going to hold up Jennings a little bit.
Jennings is in a box of lapped cars here. My goodness.
He's in a pickle right now.
He definitely is.
Oh, and Setzer walks up the door for Reeves. And it does.
So Reeves moves past Setzer for position. Now, puts a lap on Adam Gardner. Now Setzer looking to do the same. And now Jacob Reeves is only 1.2 seconds back of Devin Smith. I wonder if Devin Smith's got the pace to maybe hold on to the spot for the next 30. Actually, at this point, it's 27 laps to the end of stage 2. Gonna be tough, but how much does Devin Smith want that one stage point?
Well, honestly, if I'm Devin Smith, I'm hoping that 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick catches Jeremiah quick, because Jeremiah's actually fallen back a little bit off of his pace. But
I'd say Devin Smith ran
to be able to catch him.
No, Jeremiah ran faster. I was gonna say Devin Smith ran faster. That's incorrect. Devin Smith actually ran half a second slower than Jeremiah Stutzman and Jacob Reeves. That is bad news bears for Devin Smith.
Yeah, Jacob Reeves is actually running a lot
Car to pit road,
faster than
Andrew
Smith.
St. Coeur.
Andrew was a lap down in 16th, so he's gonna be the first taker of playoff drivers.
I want you to go ahead and multiply 75 times 3, and what number do you get?
Uh, 225.
I was gonna say the answer's on your screen, so that one shouldn't have taken so long. So yeah, this is
I actually pulled out a calculator. I actually thought you wanted me to pull out a calculator.
No, I was trying to make it make the point that this is gonna be an easy 2-stopper for Andrew St. Coeur. Actually, now Andrew St. Coeur can make it to the end of this race on one more stop.
And that's going to be interesting, but I just don't know if he's going to have the pace to be able to gain anything, because he was falling back a big ton, and it wasn't like it was small. It was big. I mean, he fell back all the way back to 16th.
Max Service hit pit road about 12 laps ago. Must have missed that. I guess he pitted as soon as he got lapped.
And I'm curious if he's actually going to make up some time here, because he's running some decent lap times.
Well, he had to do something different, because he was struggling.
Yeah, and I hope he made adjustments, because that car just wasn't looking good from where I saw it up here.
Thing is, it's not. I mean, you can make adjustments. But it's not all that many you can make.
No, you could change, you know, the offsets. You could change tire pressures. That's pretty much it. You can add. I mean, we can't add tape to these cars because there's no possible chance of adding tape. But
it's pretty much just spring offsets and pressures, like you said.
Yeah, if anything, maybe mess around with them spring offsets. You know, you can make your car, as we have recently at super speedways. You know, you can make it to where you're tight. You can make it to where you're looser. It's your best bet of making your car feel better, honestly, than tire pressures.
It's not for position.
Yeah, Max is going to make this interesting being on fresher tires, too. This is where's Devin Smith going to give Max the room? Looks like he's going to give it to him in 3 and 4. Max is going to power it in there, but he's going to leave the door open for the 22 to fall off.
We've got the battle on here for 10th. Devin Smith, Jacob Reeves, both in dire need of a stage point. And at the moment, it looks like Reeves wants it more.
Man, I think Reeves will get it. But now how far up the road is Jeremiah to where the 95 can be able to catch the 71 possibly when he goes a lap down?
Jeremiah is the entire length of the front stretch up the road, so a little bit of a drive, both of these cars.
Absolutely.
I'll check in on the leader, Seth Fitzpatrick, giving him his due TV time and respect. And at the moment, Ed, we have only had 2 different drivers win in the playoffs. 2 go to Adrian Schumacher and 1 to Seth Fitzpatrick. And at the current pace, it's like it's still gonna only be 2 drivers to win in the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
Still a lot of racing to go. But
and remember, when we went to the Milwaukee Mile, it was one of those unique tracks for these NextGen cars. Where are we at again? A unique track with these NextGen cars.
You're right. Both of these tracks have not seen NASCAR NextGen competition in real life or in the official races on iRacing. Now, maybe other leagues might have done it before, but to our knowledge, these are the first times that Seth Fitzpatrick and the rest of the field are driving these NextGen cars in a race setting, whether it be in Milwaukee or USA International.
Yeah, my biggest thing I'm going to be looking out for is like who out of these top, I honestly want to say top 3 is going to pit first, because all 3 of these guys have really good competitive speed to be able to win this race. 15 does too, but it looks like he just falls off towards the end of the run to where he lost some time. But the 20 has really great speed in the middle of the run, the long run. The 91 has decent all-around speed, but just can't get it done to where he can catch the 2, who has just better overall drive than the rest of these guys. So I'm going to be interested to see who pulls the trigger first to go to pit road and maybe gain some time on a leader, Seth Fitzpatrick.
Looking behind here is Max Service, who's 2 laps down. He's already made his first pit stop today. And Max Service is closing in on race leader Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and that will put him 1 lap down. He's currently 2 down, so that'll put him 1 lap down to where he's going to have to race all the way up to 10th, who's the first car a lap down with Jacob Reeves. So Max is making some decent time with these fresh tires. It's just, is he pushing a little too hard to where he's going to burn his stuff towards the end when these drivers all come around for their stops?
The Service makes easy work of unlapping himself. Oh, maybe it was easy.
Yeah, that was a lot of rotor glow on the 81 machine there. He's pushing the brakes a little harder than I've seen most of these drivers, and I'm looking at Seth Fitzpatrick. I'm not really seeing much rotor glow on his car either, so it doesn't look like Seth Fitzpatrick's having to use a ton of brakes, but just a decent enough to where he gets his car to be able to handle good.
Seth Fitzpatrick has such a large margin now. He can back up these corners and doesn't really have to force the brakes too much. He just has to keep it in a rhythm, keep it moving in the right direction. Have a driver on pit lane, Matthew Byers. They were already lapped, but that could mean we are nearing the end of our fuel run here, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. And another position I'm looking at here is 4th and 5th. Seth Berger's starting to catch Hunter Simpson a little bit here, to where Seth is actually going to be in good position for this last stage, hopefully, if he makes it all the way there. And we're getting actually really close to this stage end too. We're going to 101, and Seth Fitzpatrick's about to be on lap 95 when we call them all said and done. So actually, you might see these drivers stretching to where they make it to the stage end.
Hey, is there anyone who is going to stretch it? Matthew Byers, he was well out of a chance of getting stage points, so it was time for him to just come on down and make the call for him to set himself up for the rest of this race. But Seth Berger is trying to chase down newcomer Hunter Simpson. Only about, well, we'll throw it up there on the screen, 6/10 back. If you get close, this could get spicy.
Yeah. Seth has been having a really good run tonight. I know he was mentioning how he hasn't felt like he was doing really good his last couple of races. He's doing pretty solid, in my opinion, tonight, running a good top 5 race. This is what he honestly needs, just to finish top 5, top 3. I know he wants the wins that are really so important to him, but good finishes take you a long way in these playoffs, especially getting stage points too. So that's got to be a good positive sign for the 77.
Absolutely, and again, Seth Berger was not confident coming into today's race. There's still a long way to go, but I think he has done very well despite the drop in confidence going into tonight's race.
Yeah, he's done pretty well, and we're getting close to this stage at Emerson. I'm looking around, and I see a couple of drivers that need some stage points. Jacob Reeves is still sitting in that 10th spot. Devin Smith hasn't really been able to close all that much on the 22 of Jacob Reeves. So it looks like Jacob might be able to hold on for this 10th spot in the stage when we all said and done. But I'm looking through this grid. I mean, Jacob Reeves needs points. Jeremiah Stutzman, I know he has a decent cushion, but he can use the points as well. You got Scott Bailey, who needs the points as well. Scott Bailey was 2 above the cut line, and he's actually done really well these first 2 stages to get himself in position to gain some points.
Scott Bailey right in there in the 6th position. Seth Fitzpatrick is coming around. We'll have 1 lap to go in stage number 2. And I guess it's going to answer the question here, Ed. We are nearly halfway in this race to be 112. So, can these drivers make it on a one-stop? Getting close to that question. But before we get into that conversation, Ed, through the turns 3 and 4 for the final time in Stage 2, Seth Fitzpatrick is going to win Stage 2, sweep the stages. Jonathan Jennings second. It'll be Just McMahon holding on the third. It'll be a little bit of a race to the line, but it'll be Hunter Simpson coming in fourth. Seth Berger in fifth. Devin Smith has hit the pit lane as Scott Bailey comes home in sixth over Adrian Schumacher. Kevin Powell. And they were lapped, but it'll be Jeremiah Stutzman, then Jacob Reeves, the top 10. And as soon as that stage ended, Ed, Devin Smith hit the pit lane, and he was out of stage points as it was. So he decided it's time to come in and pit.
Yeah, and here comes Matthew Setzer as well, and I believe Jonathan Jennings is pulling off as well to come to pit road.
They're shedding, so there goes that. I was wondering, Ed, could we see drivers try to stretch it to 112? Hunter Simpson had made a mistake. He's dropped down to running order, and he's coming down to pit lane now. So maybe he missed pit road. There's a little bit of damage on that 15 machine as well.
Yeah, the 20, Just McMahon, who was our third place runner, also in. The leader is actually, I believe I just heard over the radio, is going to be coming soon too. So Seth Fitzpatrick will be coming to pit road, I believe, this time by.
What a busy pit lane.
Like, as soon as that stage was over, it just rang the dinner bell for everybody to come get yourself some 4 fresh good years.
Goodness.
Yep, here comes our leader, Seth Fitzpatrick, on the pit road now. Seth Berger is staying out right now to get some laps left. Scott Bailey is also out there still. Adrian Schumacher as well. Jeremiah Stutzman.
Oh, somebody just left. Hunter Simpson has left. So something happened to the 15 machine that we'll try to figure out what happened.
Oh, and Jacob Reeves almost hit the barrels coming into pit road. It was close.
So Seth Fitzpatrick is down and away. And Ed, we're getting close to that 112 mark. Some drivers might be trying it.
Yeah, the 95 almost looped it off a corner exit, I believe, off of turn 3. I heard something happen. But he saved it and we stayed green. Wasn't a really big spin, but almost catastrophic for that 95 as we see Adrian Schumacher on the pit road now. Seth Berger still out there with Scott Bailey. It looks like Scott Bailey is just holding on to dear life with his tires right now. He's just getting passed by all these guys on fresher tires.
Adrian Schumacher is in, getting his service.
You know, Emerson, I was going to mention if we're going to see any different kind of strategies, but honestly, I think the way this race is going, I would not be surprised to see every single person taking 4 tires of fuel. I was maybe going to think we see somebody take 2, but I think it's way too long in this race to be able to last on 2 tires, especially with how hard these guys are driving. Maybe later, if they do pit, some of them may have to pit. I think Andrew Secor right now is the only one I think that would have to pit again, but I don't think I'm going to see any beneficial thing out of it.
We haven't made it halfway yet.
Maybe we see a 2-tire call maybe then. Seth Berger's still out there leading this race with Scott Bailey and Jeremiah Stutzman. Oh, actually, nope. I thought Jeremiah was coming in. He was really slow off of turns 3 and 4.
What I'm thinking here, Ed, is top 3, along with Borden and Rogers, are going to try this one stop. Here comes Berger. Oh,
loose.
And Berger's going to be 1 lap short at halfway, so he's going to have to stretch.
And Scott Bailey stays out along with Jeremiah Stutzman.
I think Bailey and Stutzman, they're going to be good to make it on a one stop in this entire race. Berger's going to be he's going to be 1 lap short. And we're also looking for Borden and Matt Rogers.
If you're Seth, do you maybe try to save that 1 lap to make it to the end?
Absolutely. It's so doable.
I know, but it just sounds difficult, especially at a short track. I mean, you don't think about anybody saving fuel at a
Scott
Bristol
Bailey.
or a Martinsville. And Scott Bailey to pit road. Looks like Jeremiah's going to stay out on the track, so Jeremiah will get his lap led.
And you know what? Jeremiah wants to solidify they can make it. He went out to 1 lap past halfway.
And Cephas Patrick's gaining big time on Jeremiah. But that makes sense, especially with Cephas Patrick on those fresher tires. But doesn't look like Jennings was able to make up so much time on the two. It looks like right now it's about 4 seconds.
Stutzman has stretched this bad boy out. Matt Rogers is as well.
Yeah, Matt Rogers might be looking for a good finish if he's able to stretch this. Now I'm looking around, I see one potential battle that might heat up between teammates, between the 77 and 82. The 82 is catching the 77.
Jeremiah Stutzman right in the middle of it, though, got very sideways.
And he's holding on for dear life with those old tires. He's still going to stay out. How long is this train going to last? He's about to get past for the lead here. As they see right behind him, Cephas Patrick is just behind.
Imagine he's probably coming in when he gets past. Maybe next lap since he's going to be on the high side.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
So, yeah, I'd imagine he's coming in this lap. And if he doesn't come in this lap, then I don't know what he's doing. Matt Rogers is staying out as well.
And Just McMahon is... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the same thing. I was looking at the 96. Or not the 96. Sam Borden. But he pitted earlier.
I got the only 2 cars on track that haven't pitted are the 71 and the 96. That's still out here.
Hey, he's still going. I'm just curious. When is he going to make this stop?
You know what? He's going to make it super easy on himself then. But if Sussman can go this long, then I guess everybody who pitted around the lap 100 mark can make it to the end.
Yeah, but the big thing you got to think about, too, how much of a gap he's going to have to make up to be able to make some spots up. He's getting passed big time by some of these guys that are coming on fresher tires. And you're going to pull a big time amount of time on this 71 once he comes down pit road. Oh, right now he's just making itself harder and harder when he comes out on these fresher tires to get around everybody else.
Yeah, this is intriguing. Still watching Jeremiah Stutzman go around. Matt Rogers also still has yet to pit. I'm guessing this is just running it completely dry at this point. There's no reason to not.
No, and this is hurting Jennings too. Jennings is trying to get around Stutzman. That's for position too. And it's only hurting his case for how much time he's losing to the leader, Cephas Patrick. I'm really curious to see Stutzman's strategy after this. I mean, does he just go all out? I mean, does he save a little bit and then go? Because he's got to make it about another 100 laps on tires.
The way it's going, he does not have to save any fuel in the next stint. Everyone else, I have no idea. Matt Rogers also had an issue. Dropped a spot there. I am not sure what either of these guys are doing.
And Jeremiah got points at stage 2, but I don't know if it's going to help him big time towards the end, but I mean, you got to think, I mean, he's got to come in sooner or later, and we're just waiting on it, but all this time he's staying out doing this, he's just going to hurt himself losing time, and he's going to make it harder on himself to try to even pass cars, because we see how difficult it is to make passes as we see him get loose there off the corner. I think he's got to come in either now or the next time, because he's just hurting himself more and more.
Very intriguing way this is playing out. Stutzman continuing to run his flying, continue to run laps.
Max Service has actually left the session. Max Service is no longer in the
Service is
race.
done. Adam Gardner's in the pit box, out. And Sam Borden is back on the pit lane.
Matt Rogers is in pit lane.
Yeah, so this is Matt Rogers' pit stop.
Justin McMahon is starting to catch Jeremiah. That'll be for third. That'll put Justin back to his normal spot.
Imagine Jeremiah's coming soon. If Matt Rogers came in, Stutzman's got to be somewhere close. This is the last driver to pit now.
Justin's going to power to the inside and easily clear the 71. Now put Justin back in third. And then once the 71 pits, I think it will be all cycled out. The only one that really made a big difference was Adrian Schumacher. He overlapped the 11 at Scott Bailey. Adrian would be in fifth once this all cycles. Scott Bailey right now currently is the first car on one lap down. That will be in sixth once Jeremiah pits.
I just don't know.
It's like I said, he's just hurting himself now to where he's going to be making it harder on him to pass cars later. Because we've seen how difficult it is to pass cars. And it's going to make it even harder because he's going to be on fresher tires and all these guys are battling around each other now, wasting their tires. So it's going to be hard, especially when people are side by side, to even go around them. I just don't know why he would give up all this position to possibly for something that wasn't going to work. I mean, he might prove me wrong, but I have to see it to believe it, to be honest with you.
Certainly.
I'm not counting him out at all, and I just don't see how this is going to pay out.
Everybody, Stutzman's still out here, and we are awaiting his final pit stop. I'd imagine you can't go much longer than 140. 140,
No,
I'm thinking
no way.
that's about what you get at like a Richmond, like a Martinsville, right? 130, 140.
About, yeah. That's about right.
You're running so much faster here than you are at Martinsville.
What's weird is his times aren't that bad either. I mean, the leader, Steph Fitzpatrick, is running 21.4s, and Jeremiah is running 22.0s.
His lap times are not that bad.
No, it's only like 0.6 of a second difference, and it's not like it's like a second to 2 seconds of a difference. I mean, you can just see that he's struggling because some corners you see him get loose on the exit. It's just that's how the tires are just gone on the 71 car.
As we await Jeremiah Stutzman's long-awaited pit stop, I mean, we are now 37 laps since the pit cycle started, still waiting for Stutzman. Steph Fitzpatrick is the leader. Is a 3.3 second advantage over teammate Jonathan Jennings, and Fitzpatrick trying to get a second win in the playoffs. And looking for his fourth win on the season.
And dominating fashion as well. I mean, talk about sweeping both the stages and possibly going to be able to win this race and maybe punch your ticket into
it. Oh no, that was a pass. Just the passer position, my bad. I saw it light up red, but he is still out here.
He's still going. We're getting close to that 140 mark.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What is happening?
Oh, and he really sent it. Car did not want to hook up to the bottom.
Is this it? Here he comes. This is it.
There we go.
And that is it for the 71.
139 on the 140. Got it.
Oh my goodness.
So we're gonna have to pay attention to this because I actually want to see how much time he makes up. He's gonna go at least 2, maybe 3 laps down.
He's gonna have 85 laps. He does not have to save the tires anywhere near it, like if anyone else does.
No. And another driver coming in as well, Andrew St. Cyr, is on his way to pit road as well. That's a driver that recently pitted at lap 75.
Yeah, so he proposed already making a 2-stop. This is Andrew St. Cyr's second of 2 stops. There is Stutzman down in the way, Andrew St. Cyr.
Scott Bailey got around the 82 of Agent Schumacher. That battle was for 5th, so moves Scott Bailey into 5th place.
Back to 5th place. Remember, he was ahead and something amiss.
Yeah, I think Adrian overlapped him, so something must have happened in the 11. That wouldn't be the first time the 11 had an issue on the pit stop. Remember Daytona Road Course?
Yeah, that was...
That's not it.
So
He ended up
Andrew
hitting the
St.
wall.
Cyr is the final one there. I've been waiting about 40 laps to do this. I want to try to go back and figure out what happened to this Hunter Simpson guy and why it took so, or why he had to come back down the pit lane, or what mistake he had. I think we're gonna cash this late. I don't even know what he's doing here.
I don't know. I don't really see much. You see any damage? I don't see no damage.
Maybe he had to set his pit options, I guess. Trying to see if he like missed pit entry. Not entirely sure what happened there for Hunter Simpson. We've also lost now Sam Borden from this race.
Yeah, so now right now we only have 14 cars left on track. And Andrew St. Cyr rounds out that 14th, who recently pitted.
Here's Max Service. Max Service, he retired from this race. I'm trying to figure out what happened to V81 machine.
Actually, mistake. It's actually 15 cars on track, and Adam Gardner's the 15th car. He's 34 laps down.
Good to see Adam Gardner stick around. At least try to pick up the scraps, and that happens. Max Service here in the 81 machine. I think he just comes down and calls it a day. He's going slow enough to make the pit entry. Yeah, he just called it a day. That'll do for the 81 machine. Doug Solms also called it a day. I'd imagine Sam Borden did the same. There's something maybe amiss on Adam Gardner's car that caused him. So that was just us trying to do some investigative work. 76 laps to go here from Lakeland, Florida's USA International. Here in round 30 of the Outlaws Sim Series, the first race of the second round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. And Seth Fitzpatrick is trying to put Adrian Schumacher 1 lap down. Schumacher currently rides in the 6th position. The top 5, though: Fitzpatrick, Jennings, McMahon, Berger, and Bailey. We're going to go ahead and step aside. We'll be right back. We're going to go Pit Stop TV side by side here from the USA.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence. After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual USA International Speedway here in virtual Lakeland, Florida. We're now into the final 1/3 of this race. I am Emerson Ardenfed, share alongside bringing you coverage of race number 30 of 36 of the Outlaws Sim Series. And as far as the playoffs go, this is race number 4 in the playoffs. Race number 1 of round number 2, all that good stuff. Last Wednesday was Elimination Wednesday here for the Outlaws Sim Series at the Charlotte Roval. And we begin a new little 3-race championship tonight here at USA International. It's been dominated by Seth Fitzpatrick, who qualified a pole, swept the stages, and has led every lap besides the laps in pit cycle. And since then, it has been a chase behind him, trying to chase him down. Jonathan Jennings sat in second. Justin McMahon in third. Now Seth Berger in fourth. Scott Bailey in fifth. And one lap down, Adrian Schumacher in sixth. Kevin Powell seventh. Jacob Reeves in eighth. Devin Smith in ninth. And Jeremiah Stutzman in the top 10. 2 laps down, albeit Stutzman attempting a very off-sequence strategy to the rest of the field. Matthew Setzer's 11th, 2 laps down. Matthew Byers 12th, 2 down. Matt Rogers 13th, 3 laps down. Andrew St. Cyr is 14th, 4 laps down. And Adam Gardner is the last running machine, 35 laps off the pace. Calling it a day so far, and I think all of these drivers have just done that and just called it days. And Sam Borden, 38 laps down. Max Service 55 laps down. Hunter Simpson 60 laps down. And Doug Solms 147 laps down, I believe. All those drivers, though, called it a day. Not really any damage taking him out of contention for today's race. Just a couple spins on the day so far tonight, Ed, though, both by Jacob Reeves. And if I'm forgetting anything, I think that's it, though.
Yeah, we had Justin McMahon slap the wall early on
Right.
and got some damage, but he was able to shock the world and go through all the field and get the 3rd place, especially with that damage. So a great one with that 20 machine, our all-star winner. But a good run for him, no matter what happens. But that 2 has just been putting on an absolute blazing speed pace to where nobody's been able to really catch him. I mean, we thought Jennings would be that one guy we looked at that can contend with the 2 to possibly go for this win, but the 2 has made it to where this 91 has rarely catched him. I think the lowest it's been is about maybe 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds of a gap, how close it's been. But other than that, this 2 has just been able to put on a lights out performance, winning both the stages and possibly going for the whole sweep.
Absolutely. We want to give a shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media Sim Cams. If you're loving the sights and sounds from tonight's broadcast or any of the previous ones here on Pit Stop TV, and you want to get your hands on one of these Whiplash Media Sim Cam packs, over to pitstoptv.com/Whiplash. SimRapMarket.com, formerly known as Heatwave Designs website. They produce a plethora of iRacing paint schemes for a bunch of vehicles here on the service. And if you're a driver or painter who either just doesn't have time to paint, doesn't have really the creativity they feel, or just wants a different outlook on the vehicles they're using on the iRacing.com motorsport simulations platform, head over to simratmarket.com and see what bases they have there for you. You can buy the base, use PSTV at checkout for 10% off your order, and then make that car your own. And of course, Permanent Makeup in Crown, Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. You can contact them at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. Here we are, Ed. We are now into, I believe we're coming up to 56 laps to go this time by for Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I'm looking at one battle starting to creep up a little bit. The 11 of Scott Bailey is starting to run down Seth Berger in the 77 machine for 4th
Oh,
place.
we got a car around. Jacob Reeves in trouble.
Oh my. And he was running in the top 10, and that's big news, too. That's a playoff driver looking for points. And that's a pretty significant damage. Doesn't look like the toes are broken or anything, so looks like he's going to keep her going, but a lot of damage to that 22 machine. Oh my.
And, oh my goodness.
I don't know how his toe is not broken. That was a big hit to that left side.
That might be a meatball, though. He might have to come in and repair that. Not tolling damage, but maybe all but tolling damage.
He's still out on track right now. He's just ahead of our leader, Seth Fitzpatrick. He's about to go 2 laps down. But that helps some of these drivers possibly. If he does have a meatball fleck and has to come service that damage, that helps somebody like Devin Smith. I know Devin Smith is running in 10th place right now, but that's a spot.
Yeah, absolutely. If Jacob Reeves does have to come and pit that machine, which it looks like at this point is not a meatballed car. He's about to get
struggling.
He's just letting the leader by here. I don't know if he's coming down the pit lane. Oh! That's a spot right there for Jeremiah Stutzman, though.
And Jeremiah is going to be moved up to 8th. And he's going to be looking to reel in Kevin Powell, who's still 1 lap down, but he's going to try to get... I think he's honestly just trying to follow Seth Fitzpatrick through this right now, to be honest with you. I know he might have fresher tires, but, I mean... Oh, actually, I might have to reconsider that, because it looked like he was trying to make a pass for a second. He looks like he's setting it up.
Well, let's make no mistake. Other than Adam Gardner, Jeremiah Stutzman is the fastest car on the racetrack.
And he has like, what, 50, 60 lap difference of tires compared to these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam Gardner has 3 lap fresher tires. But the thing is, Adam Gardner's 35 laps off the pace. So he's on the track. He is running the fastest laps, Adam Gardner is. But in terms of what's going on here, he is out of contention. Jeremiah Stutzman, though, he is running the 2nd fastest laps with that being factored in. And failing right now, Seth Fitzpatrick has not made a move on race leader. And you know what? It's hard. And oh, sideways! This is the 11 of Scott Bailey.
And that's going to help Seth Berger out a little bit. Because Scott was starting to catch a little bit, but that's definitely going to give Seth Berger some more breathing room.
Oh my goodness.
And I was actually about to say, is like, what is Seth Fitzpatrick going to do once he catches the 11 and the 77? Because they both might be battling soon for that position, but honestly just made it a heck of a lot more easier for the 2.
You're right. Clears up half that battle. I believe Stutzman maybe was trying to hope for a little bit of help there from Scott Bailey as well. To try to work his way past. And it's hard. Because how do you justify passing the race leader? Yeah, especially like this far after pit stops, right? You know, the leader's not really looking back and looking for cars on fresher tires anymore. Stutzman, you know, obviously he was way out there on an oddball strategy. But I mean, I recall even in the leaders we did yesterday, there was a point where I was fast to the leader, chased down the leader, and I'm like, well, how do I, justify making a dive on the leader, Like,
yeah, exactly. Lap traffic plays so much more of a different strategy than anything else. Lap traffic will fight you, no matter if he's 1 lap down, 2 laps down, even 5 laps down. It's that hard to pass lap traffic, especially when you're on older tires and they're on new tires. They make it so much more trickier on you, where you have to watch your every single move.
So Seth Berger gives up his lead lap position, leaving 3 on the lead lap. Seth Fitzpatrick making some great work through this field. Left all but Jennings and McMahon. Berger now, first car 1 lap down. Jeremiah Stutzman, the first car 2 laps down, trying to work his way through the field, but already up to 8th for that 71 machine. You know what, Ed? He is 13 seconds back, but I guess it is not that far-fetched to say he has a shot maybe at like an Adrian Schumacher for 6th. Maybe Bailey and Berger for 5th or 4th.
I don't know, because right now I'm looking at a battle for 6th right now. Kevin Powell's all over the back of Adrian Schumacher for 6th.
There you go, yeah. We'll catch up with this. Yeah, but the other factor to that is, of course, Stutzman passing Fitzpatrick, or Fitzpatrick just been 2nd lap down on these guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But you got to think, too, it's like, let's say he does get around Seth Fitzpatrick right now. About a whole straightaway and some change to get to Kevin Powell and Adrian Schumacher. So he's going to need a little bit of help, I would say. I'm not like caution help, but
he does have the fresher tires by a mile. It's just he has yet to make that move on Fitzpatrick, which is hurting him.
And it's not like he's running faster times either. He's running 21.8s, and Schumacher and Kevin Powell running 22.0s.
That's a couple tenths faster, and that adds up.
I actually think Seth Fitzpatrick's actually holding up Stutzman a little bit, with Stutzman being behind him.
Maybe. I definitely would imagine that, but again, I feel for Stutzman. This spot's like really the only way to pass here is like to kind of dive bomb somebody, and it's like you don't want to make the leader mad by dive bombing him. You do have your own race to run. All right, on board with Adrian Schumacher, back at Kevin Powell. This battle heat up.
Powell closes a little bit on entry, but loses it somewhat on exit. Adrian just has really good exit speed.
Adrian's so calm under acceleration.
And I was going to mention too, I'm sorry to cut you off there,
good.
but Adrian needed a run like this.
Sure.
I know he dominated both the road courses in that first round, but we're not having any more road courses for the rest of the season. He needs to have good runs at some of these ovals. And if I remember correctly, Milwaukee Mile, he finished outside the top 10. Like he was like 12th or 13th. And he needs really, really good finishes to be able to move on this next round. I was going to say, because this round is going to be tricky for some people that struggle at some ovals. Like, I know Adrian, you and me both know him well. He's good at ovals. Talladega next week's probably going to be a really good track for him, but Darlington, I have no idea how that's going to play for him.
I know Adrian is pretty good at Darlington. You got to think, though, Darlington, yes, it's an oval, obviously, but it's one of the more unique ovals. Darlington, I think, plays in the favor of somebody who likes road courses like Adrian, because it's all about finesse. And Adrian, he's done well, at least in the Xfinity car at Darlington. I have no doubt that Adrian is going to have some sort of pace entering Darlington week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited morally for Talladega next week.
Sure.
I feel like we might see a surprise, if anything, I feel like, for Talladega. But, I mean, just think about it. Somebody like an Adam Gardner who's 35 laps down right now. Imagine he goes on to win Talladega. How that shakes up everything.
I was going to say, the wrench that throws in the playoff field.
That shakes up everything. So, say that did happen. That throws a Scott Bailey or a Jacob Reeves out of this playoffs right now. And they would have to work their way in by points. That makes it that much harder for some of these drivers to put focus on some of these racetracks. Like, Jacob Reeves did not have the greatest of nights tonight. He spun out a couple times, but was able to make his way back inside the top 10.
Crazy,
Scott
he's still in
Bailey,
ninth.
yeah, it's insane. Scott Bailey has had a really good night. He's been in the top 5, top 6 all night. And he's been able to make his way through. And he's actually getting close to battling with Seth Berger for 4th. They're right close next to each other. But a Devin Smith who's been outside the top 10, he's now in 10th now, having trouble. Matt Rogers outside the top 10 in 13th. All those guys that needed points are struggling. Andrew St. Cyr hasn't been really as competitive as I thought he would be tonight either. Same thing with Adam Gardner. All those guys that need points are going to circle next week and be like, I can cancel this race out and just go win Dega. That's how different that can play out. It's just, that's why I enjoy real life NASCAR, because that's one track that everybody looks at. Talladega. Anything can happen. And it's just that little slip up that you can have at one track, it pays big dividends when you go to Talladega the next week.
100% agree. It's wild. I mean, obviously, any race can make or break around for someone, but Talladega is the race that will make or break some rounds, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like we have to do the same thing with Atlanta in round 3 too.
Absolutely. We're getting close to the end of this race, and we are clicking off some laps. You're now working 27 laps to go next time by for Steph Fitzpatrick. And battles are coming to fruition here.
I mean, Steph Fitzpatrick's doing really well up front. We got Scott Bailey trying to run down Steph Berger again. Agent Schumacher getting run down by Kevin Powell. Stutzman still stuck behind Steph Fitzpatrick 2 laps down, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can make up all that time. They're about a straightaway behind each other, so Stutzman is going to need to do something to be able to maintain and try to catch Kevin Powell and Schumacher. If not, somewhat of a decent recovery in 8th. I was expecting a little bit more, hopefully, out of him to get like a 5th or a 6th. But, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, do we say it's a success with the strategy? It's hard to say yes.
If he could have passed Seth Fitzpatrick so much earlier in this race, right, and maybe have a go at Schumacher and Powell, I think that would have been a great mark there. If he catches these two, then it's a success. But
yeah,
he's just sat behind the leader, and I can't, definitively say it was good or bad, because he hasn't made that pass in the leader or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam Gardner's on pit road right now. He's still there. I'm guessing he's calling it a night. I would imagine.
And he's at the point now, right? He can't make up any more spots.
No.
He's run all he could run. 15th for the day he's had. I'm sure, he'll take the scraps. But tough day. Andrew St. Cyr, he is now the last car running. He's nearly put in the wall. He's trying to chase down Matt Rogers in turn 3, though, so that's a little bit of a thing to keep up on as well. The battle between St. Cyr and Rogers. They both had not had the greatest of days, but that's a point that can go in someone else's favor.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andrew at this race just has to look on to next week. Just focus on what he can do at Talladega. I know he's definitely got that one in Darlington Circle. I don't think a lot of drivers were expecting a lot out of this track tonight. I feel like maybe some more than others.
Sure.
Like a Seth Fitzpatrick or a Jennings possibly looked at this maybe as a possible chance to win tonight and clinch your way into round 3. But somebody like Andrew St. Cyr or Adam Gardner, I don't know if he had it circled to where they can do really well here. I mean, maybe Andrew, because I felt like this track compared him a little bit with how he was at New Hampshire, because it kind of played somewhat of a little factor. But, I mean, all in all, I mean, he tried his hardest, and he's still out there running. He's 5 laps down, but, maybe a couple incidents happened in front of him. He somehow gained some spots, but I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think he got any stage points at all tonight, so I think he's just going to go off off his finish.
That's correct. No stage points that I recall correctly ever. If I recall correctly, very interesting score. Kevin Powell, he has been hounding this rear end of Adrian Schumacher for quite a bit.
Yeah, he just has had nowhere to go. He's just
It's not made
tough.
that definitive move.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't talked about a lot either. The dirty air playing a big factor in this too, so it's making it harder and harder for these guys to pass. Like, some guys have made it easy on each other to pass each other because of the fresher tires comparison, and then some people maybe just send it onto the bottom because that bottom's really the preferred line. You really want to pass somebody, so it's just. But in Kevin Powell's situation right now, it doesn't help that Adrian's running the same exact.
Oh, Justin McMahon, he has gone around.
Oh no!
From 3rd. And he is now down to 5th, and he's got Schumacher and Powell right behind as well. Trying to figure out what happened to the 20 machine. Oh, goodness gracious. And I don't know exactly what happened, but
Saw he was running around Matt Byers. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Here we go.
Oh, it looks like the same thing he did earlier.
Oh.
He said this time he goes to the inside wall.
Brutal hit for the 20.
He still keeps it going. He still kept it going, though. So he's still on track, but he lost a ton of spots there. He lost 2 spots, and that bumps him down to 5th. But he's got Adrian Schumacher and Kevin Powell just behind him. That would be for 6th and 7th as well, but I don't know if they'll get him. But that's frustrating, too. The 20 was having such a good night running around in 3rd. He definitely had really great pace, but I don't think he's going to get the finish he wanted tonight.
What this has done, though, is it's rejuvenated some life in this battle now for 5th. Now between McMahon, Schumacher, and Powell, there is more to play for. More chips are needed to play at this table.
Not only did it do that, I think it rejuvenated the driver in the 77.
Oh, yeah.
I think back-to-back top 3 finishes, that's got to be really good. I mean, still, I know he hasn't had the confidence in himself, but, you're inching your way to possibly doing really well at tracks you don't think you're going to do well. And we're going next week to a track where he won in the regular season at.
He won last season as well to lock himself into the next round of the playoffs at Talladega.
All he has to do really is just hold on for... Yeah, all he has to do right now is just hold on for 13 more laps.
And even if he loses 4th, or 3rd, to Scott Bailey, that's still a great run.
Yeah, and again, that guy you mentioned too, Scott Bailey, a really good run when he needed it. He's 2 points above the cut line going into this race. And I think right now he's going to have a really good cushion going into Dega.
Something I missed are the 12 of Andrew St. Coeur. And Ed, I just have to wonder, we're getting closer to the end of this race. Is the opportunity for a caution maybe around a corner, though? Having more and more incidents.
Oh, and I see exactly what happened. I see some front end damage to this 91 machine.
There we go. Yeah, we're going to find out right here. Oh, no, he tried to pit.
Yeah, I think it looked like Andrew was trying to pit, and he just couldn't get it to rotate, to turn into the pit road, and Jennings had nowhere to go. It just ran right in the back of him. Well, luckily for Jennings, that didn't really... that gives him a 4X, yeah, but it didn't look like it hurt his car all that bad to where he's going to be tremendously down somewhat, but...
And, he's only got a few laps left in this race. But if Andrew St. Coeur went completely around there, that could have brought out a caution.
Yeah, exactly, and that would have changed a lot. Seth Berger would have got the free pass. That would have meant there were 3 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, all 3 of them would come down pit road, get fresh tires, and it'd be a dogfight to the end.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to see Jennings on a short-run shootout to where a win punches yourself into the next round.
Now, Andrew St. Coeur, I think he's going to call it a night as well. Leaving 13 cars running. And the battle on track still between Schumacher and Reeves. McMahon has opened up that gap once again.
Yeah, and again, good runs for people that need them. Schumacher needed a good run at short. Oh, almost had jinxed that for there. He got loose off of turn 4, but a good run for Schumacher. And Kevin Powell, I think, right now is the highest finishing. Oh no, Justin McMahon is the highest finishing non-playoff driver, but Kevin Powell is the 2nd, and both of those guys are doing really well. Kind of confusing because they're both almost running the same cars, but one has a different color on the base, and the other one's a different number. So, but overall, they're having really good nights. Good to see some of these drivers that needed good runs having good runs. Jacob Reeves, out of everything we've seen him spinning out about 2-3 times, is going to finish in the top 10, along with Devin Smith, who's had somewhat of a quiet night. Jeremiah is back in 8th after that kind of weird strategy that I don't think we ever expected anything to happen. And Scott Bailey and Seth are going to finish third and fourth. Jennings is going to hopefully bring it around to second, and Seth Fitzpatrick is going to hopefully take this race as we're going to 3 laps to go, coming to 2.
3 laps to go for the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick. 2.5 now as he works his way down the back straightaway here at Lakeland, Florida's USA International. And it's been a dominant day for this number 2 machine. Again, if he's able to hold on to these final 2 laps, it'll be well deserved. He would have led all but 11 laps today, and it will keep the drivers to win in the playoffs this season at 2 between Schumacher and Fitzpatrick. He can come around and do it one more time. He'll take the white flag here, presented by Whiplash Media Sim Cams.
Yeah, I mean, just one heck of a drive from a driver that we expect nothing but success out of. I mean, he's showing up at the right times when he need to. He dominated the Milwaukee Mile. Well, I shouldn't say dominated the Milwaukee Mile. He got past
He
Joshua
showed up at the
Valley
right
next,
time, and he wins here at the USA International Speedway. Second win in the playoffs, 4th on the season. It'll be Jonathan Jennings in second. Seth Berger, 1 lap down. He crosses the line in third. Scott Bailey, 4th. Justin McMahon rounds out the top 5, and Kevin Powell beats out Adrian Schumacher. Something happened to Schumacher.
Oh, the 93, I think, may have had contact with the 82.
We got it here. Here's the final lap, final move, and a little bit of contact did occur here in the turn 3, Ed.
But Kevin went for the inside and just... Ugh. I don't know about that one. I don't think Adrian's going to be happy about that.
You know, that's going to be tough. I know, I know it's the final lap, like, and you're going for that spot, right? But
yeah, and Adrian's a playoff driver that needs every spot too. So
that's someone who just got driven through in turn 3. Adrian
yeah,
Schumacher.
Remind you a little bit of something too from Milwaukee, a little bit. I think the 93 got into the 81.
Type of contact. What it does remind me of is the driver who won Milwaukee has now won here at USA International, Seth Fitzpatrick, with the dominant race victory, and we will talk to him. Bringing on up driver of the number 2, Seth Fitzpatrick. Seth, it's your 2nd win of the playoffs, and it was his dominant one at that. It's your 4th win on the season. You lock yourself into the round of 8. How are you feeling?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good, Emerson. We're feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. This one was all yours. You led from pole. You led 214 laps. The only laps you didn't lead were on pit cycle. Some drivers stealing them from you. Other than that, very dominant performance, Seth. Talk about what it was like preparing for this race with all your teammates and the work you put in this week before you even got here.
Oh, we put quite a bit of time in on it. I knew we was going to be good though. We was all pretty equal throughout there, and if it wasn't for Matt's base, he was the one that helped us all with it. He was the one that had the base to it. So, man, a couple little adjustments, and this thing was on rail.
Now, it's a great win here on one of the final short tracks on the season. You got a couple more coming up in the next round. I know that kind of, lets Talladega, Darlington kind of beat their own. You can have a little bit more fun there. But looking to that round of 8, and let's just say for the sake of it, specifically North Wilkesboro, and then Richmond at the championship finale, how does this kind of set you up, kind of prepare you for those final 2 short tracks?
Pretty good, I think. I think we're doing really good on short tracks. Jonathan's the master, and I'm just trying to learn from him. But I think we'll be pretty strong.
Well, there you go. And then I do have to ask, then, what's your game plan now for Talladega?
Hell, why not try to win it? We're gonna go let it all hang out. I wish New
Absolutely.
Atlanta was in this round too. Now,
There you go. Seth Fitzpatrick, 4th win on the season. You're locked into the round of 8. You're going to let it all hang out at Talladega. I love to hear it. Can't wait to see it, Seth. Congratulations on a dominating victory this evening. And congratulations on making the round of 8. Best luck to you at Dega and next round.
hey, thank y'all.
There it is, the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick. Again, what a dominant race. Let's take a look at how it all wound out here at the checkers here, Ed. It is of course Seth Fitzpatrick with the victory. Jonathan Jennings comes across the line in 2nd, and that's it for the lead lap. It's Seth Berger, the first car, 1 lap down, in 3rd. Scott Bailey in 4th. Justin McMahon in 5th. Kevin Powell with a little bit of last lap contact with Adrian Schumacher, he'll get 6th. Schumacher falls down to 7th. And then 2 laps down is Jeremiah Stutzman in 8th, Jacob Reeves in 9th, Devin Smith rounding out the top 10.
In 11th, you had Matthew Setzer 3 laps down. Matthew Byers 4 laps down in 12th. What a good run for that 94 bunch. 96 of Matt Rogers finishes 13th, 5 laps down. Along with Andrew St. Cor, who was 14th, 15 laps down. Not the run that he was hoping for tonight. League owner Adam Gardner was 15th, 65 laps down, who just didn't have the pace all night tonight and looked like he was struggling a lot. Hopefully he'll make it up back in Talladega next week. And 16th, out of all the drivers that did not finish, Sam Borden, 101 laps down. 17th, Max Service, the 81, 118 laps down. 18th to 15th, Hunter Simpson, who made his debut tonight, 122 laps down. 19th, Doug Solms, the 67, 210 laps down. And Vincent Cortez, who did not take the green tonight, 226 laps down.
Yeah, so only 19 cars showed up, and that'll do it for this evening's race. We got more post-race coverage coming up on the far side of this break, though. Don't you go anywhere. More post-race coverage from the virtual USA International coming up on the far side of this break.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual USA International Speedway here in virtual Lakeland, Florida. I am Emerson Darn with Ed Scher alongside this evening, and we wrapped up a great green flag race from start to checkered. Can't say enough about this Outlaws Sim Series field. Doing their best to keep these races clean and green, and it was a lot of fun tonight. It was Seth Fitzpatrick, the dominant driver, but his teammate, kind of been the short track ace this season, comes up one spot short tonight. Ed, yeah, Jonathan Jennings is standing by.
And Jonathan Jennings with a great second place run tonight. It just seemed like you guys at Last Chance had a great run all night tonight. It just seems like your buddy Seth Fitzpatrick and teammate had a little bit more something different than you had. It just looked like you couldn't catch him at all, and looked like you needed a couple things to go your way to be able to catch him. Was there anything you thought you could have done different possibly to go get him for the win?
Yeah, I could have qualified better. Once we caught lap traffic, it was hard to make up any time on him. So I'm happy for him. It's a good team finish anyway.
Yeah, especially with how your points were looking tonight. It was a pretty good night overall for you. You got good stage points all night tonight, even finishing second. Overall, that puts you in a good spot going into Talladega next week. Now, does it maybe change your mind a little bit how you play Talladega? Are you going to play it safe maybe, or go aggressive for the win possibly? We talked to your teammate earlier, Seth Fitzpatrick, who said he's going to try to fight for that win. Now, does it worry you that possibly somebody that's below that cut line might have a chance to maybe knock some people out of the points, even maybe knock your chances out, possibly going for the win?
I just want to come out of Talladega without losing any points, so I can race Darlington the way I want. That's the one I really care about. So I don't know. Well, stage points, I'll go after those, but other than that, they can have the win as long as it's not somebody below the cut line.
Now, you mentioned you're more looking forward to Darlington compared to Talladega. Is there something in particular that you're looking at Darlington that's maybe your best track to possibly clinch yourself into that third round?
I have more control over what I can do with Darlington over Talladega. So that's the only reason I don't care for Talladega.
That's very understandable, but congratulations on your second place race tonight, Jonathan, and good look at paint scheme to do it with too, and hopefully we'll see you at Talladega, and hopefully you do really well. Good luck.
Oh, man, thank you.
And that was driver of the number 91, Jonathan Jennings. Not going to bring on up third place finisher tonight. Driver of the number 77, Seth Berger. Now, I know, Seth, it came at a little bit of a surprise to you there towards the end of the race, but I thought this was going to be the race that would single-handedly eliminate you from this round. Seth, this is a pretty good run.
Yeah, that was a great run. It feels like a win. For a while, I thought I was only going to get fifth. Then I was able to get ahead of Scott Bailey and stay there. And then, yeah, with the 20 car spinning there, that was definitely a surprise at the end. Sucks for him, but good for me, you know. I felt like the setup was good. Like I told you before the race, this is probably my worst track on iRacing. At least I think. I'm not sure if I was better at this track, how much better I could have done. Felt like the setup was good enough. I don't know what else I could have done, but I'm happy with third. That's all I needed, stage points, and on a Talladega.
I was going to say, yeah, I'd imagine you're just trying to kind of forget about this race a little bit. It did go particularly well, but I know you got a lot of momentum heading to Talladega. If I could recall correctly, I think you won the last two times we've been at Talladega. So there's a lot here for the 77 machine. Now you got a good points cushion, but I'm sure you'd like to lock in with a win at Talladega. How are you gonna take it?
Hopefully we can get the teamwork going at Talladega. It'd be awesome to get Burger Nation a win there. Almost like Junior Nation a win at Dega in real life. That'd be cool. It's really just try to not get taken out and be there at the end. That's what I've done the last two times there and position myself right. So clearly I could get it done, but it's always a 50-50 chance of even being there at the end.
Right on, Seth. So looks like a good little run for you tonight here at USA. Good, nice building of your points cushion. Looks like you're gonna have some fun at Talladega next week as well. So best of luck to you in the coming races, and yeah, hopefully we're talking to you a little bit more then.
Thank you. Congrats to Seth Fitzpatrick and Jonathan Jennings on bleed lap finishes. I think with this track, it's similar enough to it. Or I'm sorry, I don't remember where the championship race is. It is Richmond, right?
It is Richmond. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This track, you float the corners enough. I think it's the closest track to Richmond. They're going to be favorites, I think, as of right now. Shout out Bergen Nation. Obviously, Berg_Arts on all media platforms. There's a giveaway. There will be an entry update. I was on vacation for the last week or so. Make sure you private message me, Berg_Arts_77, and you will get an entry into the giveaway. And thank you to you guys.
There you go. Go ahead and check out Berg Arts. Again, all those social media platforms you see on the hood of his car: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. DM him for an entry into his giveaway coming up very, very soon. Congratulations on the podium finish tonight, Seth, and best luck to you.
Thank you.
Driver of the number 77, Seth Berger. And I was hoping we'd get to talk to Adrian Schumacher, but we'll go ahead and we'll bring on up driver of the number 93, Kevin Powell, at the other side of that.
Yeah, we'll try to hear the other side of the story, and we couldn't talk to Adrian. Kevin, looked like you and Adrian got into a little bit of a little scrapple there towards the end. Now, was that maybe just you trying to get the spot a little bit more than he wanted it, or did you just possibly just overslip it a little bit to where you got into the side of him?
Adrian did nothing wrong. I completely dive bombed him. That it wasn't intentional. I was thinking maybe if I could get my nose under there, because he was pushing up a little bit in the center, that if I could get my nose under there, it would turn his drive off down, but he stuck it a little bit better than I thought. So that's completely on me. That's very intentional. Not intentional, but it looks very intentional, but it's really not.
Now, we saw you guys battling for a long time there. The dirty air, it looked like it played a big factor in how you couldn't be able to get around him for so long. Now, we saw a lot of passes being made, mainly where the guy on the bottom was able to pass the guy on the outside. Was it hard just to pass because of the dirty air, or was it just hard to get to the side of him?
It was hard to get to the side of him. Adrian, he was fast off the corner, and that's where it killed me. I was quicker than him in the center of the corner, but where I needed to put the car to even try to get a run on him, I was getting loose off. So I even tried entering, half a lane up, half a tire width up, and it was just so loose every time I tried to come off the corner. So yeah, basically that position belongs to him and not me. I messed that up there, and I feel horrible.
Well, I understand how you feel, and I know it's frustrating and all, but next week we go to Talladega, where you guys at Last Chance seem to have really good team chemistry going on, and I know it's probably going to be a battle between you guys and Swift Racing. How do you feel about your chances going into Talladega, maybe to steal a win away from these playoff drivers?
I've won some plate tracks, but I think of it as like the lottery, it's just a gamble. I guess, the best thing you could do is try to, ride in the back and hope you miss the big one, or stay out front and hope it's not up front. But I believe our team is strong and we can pull through, and at least someone to get a win. I know we'll have some top 3, top 5s, hopefully.
Well, we'll see how you guys do at Last Chance. I know you guys will probably build a pretty decent setup to compete with some of those guys out there, but congratulations no matter what, your top 10 finish, and see you out there at Talladega next week.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to Adrian again. Like I said, he deserves that position, not me.
Well, there you go. Hearing that side from Kevin Powell on that last lap incident, and I'm glad that wasn't intentional. Looks like it was just kind of hard racing. He overdrove a little bit, and that is that. But I think that's gonna do it tonight here from the USA International. It was a Pretty good, clean race. Even went by a little quicker than I think I anticipated. But we still have so much more coming up on the channel, Ed. Much more coming up this Sunday. Wow, I have to think about that one. Sunday, even though it's in front of my face. Sunday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Sim Pit has their third race of the season from Watkins Glen International. You won't want to miss those GTE cars tackling the full course at Watkins Glen International, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Great racing those GTE cars produce. And Tuesday night, we have the Virtual Racing School Advanced Legends Cup. Yes, the official iRacing Series for those Legends Coupes will be headed to the Lanier Raceplex this week. And Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, that top split, will be broadcasted here on Pit Stop TV. If you think you have what it takes to show up, make it top split, and show out, go ahead and sign on up. Just, with the official iRacing sign up page, and you just may make it on to the broadcast. And then next Wednesday night, Ed, you got a lot of action coming up for us. Playoff racing from the Talladega Super Speedway, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. How about it, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, that Sim Pit series seems pretty interesting, knowing that they're going to my home track in Watkins Glen. You know how I love my road courses, Emerson. I love the Watkins Glen. I just think it's such a fabulous track for not only NASCAR, but for GT3s and all that. But I love it when the IMSA series goes there, and it's a great time to watch it. But I think, I mean, do we really have to say that we're really looking forward to Talladega? I mean, I think everybody's looking at Talladega next week, just thinking what could possibly happen. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win. And I think we might have a surprise. Who knows? We'll see what happens when we go there. But I'm excited. The schedule looks pretty good, but it seems even more interesting when we find it on social media, right, Emerson? I mean, our social media pages get going pretty good. We can check them out at facebook.com/pitstoptv or instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, twitter.com/pitstoptv_, where some of you may be watching on the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, or on YouTube at youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1, where you can catch all the action of Pit Stop TV action, whether it's Outlaws, Sim Pit, the Advanced VRS, Legend Coupes, whatever track they go through this week. I can't remember exactly, but it should be an exciting one. We definitely have all the coverage coming up, and I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. And well, yes, that'll do it here from Lakeland, Florida's USA International. Excuse me. We're happy to have had you all here tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all on Pit Stop TV, Ed Sure beside me on the mic, I am Emerson Arden. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you Sunday afternoon for the Sim Pit from Watkins Glen International, or next Wednesday night for playoff action from the big bad Talladega Super Speedway.